So, there's really two types of people in the world. There are people that have money, and there are people that don't have money. Sounds cliche. But each one of those two people with money and people that don't have money or people that need money, each one of them have the ability to solve the problems of the other person. And in doing so, they have the ability to create something that we all talk about a lot, and that is passive income. So, do you want to create passive income? Do you want more passive income? But you think that you need a big lump sum in order to do that. Because that's the common misconception. The most common misconception is that you need a big lump sum of money to start, which really you don't. You need one of two things. You do either need the money, the big lump sum, or you need the opportunity. Because a big lump sum doesn't do anything without an opportunity. So when you bring those two together, you got yourself a pretty cool thing. And the most common form of this is real estate. Real estate has, I guess, for probably the longest period of time, been one of the number one sources of what people would call passive income. Now, I don't believe passive income really exists in the state that we want it to believe in. I don't know as if there's really any income that's truly 100% passive, because we have to work for something, or we had to put the time and energy into it for it then to become quote unquote passive. I love it when real estate investors come to me and they say that they have a bunch of rentals and it's all passive. No, it's not. What happens when something breaks? What happens when a hurricane hits your rentals? Is that passive? Nope, because your phone's ringing. You got to figure things out. It takes your time. That makes it not passive. But we can call it whatever we want. The one thing I do know is that real estate is one of the greatest investments on earth, and it provides a really, really cool opportunity. See, I've been on both sides of that equation. I've been on the side where I didn't have money, but I needed it to make opportunities happen. I needed it when I started in real estate. I didn't have money, so I had to find people on the other side of the street that had money, because I had the opportunity. I had the real estate deal. And I put a lot of time, energy, and education into knowing how to find those unique opportunities, because in real estate, the money's made on the buy, not the sell. I knew how to buy them, and I knew how to buy them at the right price. So now that I had them under contract, I controlled them, I then needed to understand how to get the money for them. So I had to find people that had the money that then could make my opportunity real. And I got pretty good at this. Matter of fact, I even wrote a book on it called The Private Money Guide, which really showed you how to be a good borrower, okay, first off, how to find the opportunity, how to present the opportunity, how to do all the things that I would need to get the interest of a lender. Now, that lender came in many shapes and sizes. At first, it was the banks, because that's just what we're taught, right? When we need money, we go to the good old-fashioned traditional bank. But once you start going to the bank, you realize how crappy the banks really are. They make you jump through this hoop and that hoop. They make promises, and then they go back on their promises. Then they give you what they said is the best deal they're going to, which for you basically sucks. So that led me down the path of institutional investors and hard money investors. And I realized there's all sorts of problems there, very similar to that of the banks. And then you know what I found out? I found out the best people for me to help were people just like me, the average person, okay? The middle class person that maybe had saved a little bit of money and wants to make that money go to work for them, because their goal was always the same as what my goal was. We both wanted to make money. So what I started doing is getting really good at building a stable of private money lenders. And because I had the opportunity and they had the money, it was a very, very good fit. So what if I told you this? The ultimate in real estate is being the bank. Do you know where that comes from? Well, a mentor of mine once told me that. He said, Chris, the ultimate in real estate is being the bank. I had no idea what that meant, but I started to see that because these institutional lenders, these banks, the traditional banks, and these private lenders, they always seem to make a little more money with a lot less work. Even the best deals I did, I felt like the private lenders, the institutional lenders, all of them seemed to just get the better deal because they didn't have to do all the hard work. And they had basically the only risk they had was me screwing up. Okay, but then they were still in control of the deal. So if I didn't pay them, they were in control of my real estate deal. They had a lien on it. So I was the one doing all the work, putting in all the risk, and they were the ones just coming in and just saying, hey, I'm the bank. Let me help you make your opportunity real. But in turn, what I realized is I was actually helping make their opportunity real. So I hate the word passive because you do have to work for it. So get that word passive right. Passive does not mean no work. Passive does not mean sitting on your ass and doing nothing. Passive means you got to put the work in. I don't care if the work is put in prior to the income showing up or the work is put in continuously while you receive the income for doing it. But that's for sure. Passive income isn't completely passive because it requires you to work for it. So there's two components to this. One of two things, money or time. Money or time. You got to have one of those. As a real estate investor, I had the time because that was the business I was in. I spent the time to find the opportunities, to find the deals, to go out and do the marketing, to go out and pound the doors, to build the relationships, to do that, which was, what was that? Find the best deals at the best price. Then I switched. I pivoted from the person that needed money to the person that had money. I was now that guy across the street that had the money. And what I wanted to do is the same thing all the other folks wanted to do. I wanted to be the bank. So what I started doing is I started looking for people that were just like me back in the day. People that had the time, that had the expertise, and that were finding the really good deals. And then I basically said, hey, I've got the money. Let's do this deal. And we came together and I started lending to them. And I became the bank. You see, it doesn't matter what side you're on. You can be the person that needs money, but you still can be seeking passive income. Or you can be the person that has money and you can still then seek passive income. But passive income, you must understand, it's not just rentals. Passive income and rentals both take work. People who succeed are not passive. I've never met any people out there that are passive, that are wildly successful. They don't just sit on their ass doing nothing. They don't just watch the sports games all day, every day. You know, on average, if you study different books that talk about the studies that have been done on millionaires and multimillionaires, they all work over 60 hours a week. And they've got all the money. They don't have to work, but they do. You know what else wealthy people do? They continuously improve. They're constantly learning. They're constantly reading. They're constantly testing themselves. They spend a minimum of 2 hours every day trying to learn something new. Another thing that successful people do based on all these studies is they constantly keep their machine, their body in good health. Because they found that by being in that good health state, eating well, resting, sleeping, if you want to call it that, they were able to accomplish more every day. And that was success to them. So you will get to a point, folks, where money isn't your driving force. Now, I know that you don't understand that because I didn't understand that back then. You'd be like, money is the reason. I need more money. I need more things. No, that is not the things. Because when you have the money and you have the things, when you have the car that you've always dreamt about, you live in the mansion that you've always dreamt about, it's not about money anymore. And you might just be saying, oh, it's just because you have those things. No. Your priorities change. You start thinking differently. You start looking at how can you help others? How can you give more? How can you do more? But you never stop learning. You never stop pushing. You never stop being, the person that you are meant to be. You never become passive. Wealthy people, although they might make what we would call passive income, they are not passive. So let me talk to you about something that I'm wildly excited about. Something that, as of right now, in a matter of just a few short days, 4 days to be exact, the entire United States is going to hear about something I've been working on for 2 years. Something that is everything to do with what we just talked about. People with money and people that need money. The needs of both of them. The desires of both. And how each of them need one another. And about how being the bank puts you back in control of your money. So if we take all of those equations and we really just look at that one example. I want you to imagine the person that needs money is on one side of the street. The person that has money is on the other. The only thing that's lacking in that equation is connection in the middle. Doesn't that sound a lot like a dating site? It does, right? There's men and women. You can do one on one side, one on the other. And all they're lacking is the connection. And then they can go off and they can get married and live happily ever after. So what I did is I started tinkering around and playing around with this idea of a dating site. But a dating site for money and for deals. A dating site for private lenders to connect with borrowers. A dating site of lenders, people with money, and a dating site that brings together borrowers who have the opportunity. And then the lenders can basically be the bank for the borrowers. And the borrowers can be the borrowers for the bank. Do you see what I'm saying? I created a dating site for money. So the Private Money Club, we literally just launched it. You can go on and get the app. Just go into any of the app stores and just type in PMC and there it is. Or you can just go to privatemoneyclub.com and you can check out the first of its kind, the dating site for money. And hopefully that will help solve some of your problems. So with that being said, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the lesson that came along with this video. And I hope you're willing to put the time, effort, and energy into doing something more. No matter how much you want passive income, just remember, passive income takes work. So if you like this video, and we're talking about real estate, so why don't you check this one out? How to get into real estate with no to little money down. I think you might like that one. So while we're at it, and while you're motivated to check that video out, why don't you click the subscribe button? Like this video and then click the alerts button so you're notified every time we put a new video up. With that being said, go out there, crush it, and stay classy, folks. See you next time.